What are some things you'd only know by growing up poor? How to keep a 7-year-old from knowing she's poor. My mom used to take my brother and I to the soup kitchen every week to volunteer. We must always be kind to those less fortunate, she'd say. Then, after volunteering, "Oh, it's so late, and I don't feel like cooking. Let's just eat here while we're here." This speaks volumes to me. When my sister and I were growing up before the age of 10, we were pretty bad off. Though we never knew it. Our parents were so good at not cluing us into it that we didn't even know until we were adults. We lived in rural Texas, and a couple times a week, my dad would come in and say to us, "I noticed a lot of people littering on the way home. We should go do our part to keep our community beautiful and clean." So we would go walk up and down the highway picking up cans and glass bottles. We would then take them to the recycling yard where we got to watch the cool machine shoot the cans at the big pile of crushed cans. I later found out we did that because we couldn't afford basic necessities, and we were collecting recyclables, which the yard paid for by the pound at the time, so we could go buy a gallon of milk, eggs, and bread. My parents are my role models now, and I only hope I have been half as good a parent to my kids as my parents were to me. When someone breaks into your house but doesn't take anything. Happened once. Still think it's funny. Poignant. Thief realizes he's not as desperate as the people who live there. The burglar breaks the window, steps inside and looks around. Says to themselves, "Man, I better put $20 here so they can get that window fixed cause it's going to be chilly tonight." Where do you buy your windows? Was gonna say. Could build myself a one-man greenhouse if windows were that cheap. You go to bed early to skip a meal. Edit. Thank you guys so much for the gold and silver. I'm having Reddit awards for dinner today. Sleep for dinner. And a deep breath for lunch. Malnourishment for dessert. Your dad asking you for $20 so he can go to work for the week but he'll pay you back when he gets paid. Yeah, my dad would randomly give me $5 every month or 2 months. Sometimes I saved it up and it always hurt when he needed $20 for gas. I didn't get mad though because it was his money originally. I remember my dad breaking down in tears for the first time that I've seen and asking me for my birthday money so we could eat. I ended up giving it to him, never got it back but he's made up for it by now. That birthday sucked, man. Edit. I'm so very touched by all of your stories. I decided to call my dad and tell him how much I love him and how grateful I am for all the things he's done for me. We had a very heartfelt conversation that I'll remember for a long time. Smile. That birthday sucked, but having a dad that truly loves you doesn't. You're very right. I'd rather have horrible birthdays for the rest of my life instead of not having my dad. I love him and I appreciate everything he's done for my siblings and I. Knowing the cheapest thing on the menu at every restaurant, for when your friend's family invites you out to dinner. Even though you're not paying, you're programmed to only select the cheapest thing. My friend's mom said you sure like hot dogs. That's all you order no matter where we go to eat. I learned these things because I expected that they'd try to pay for me, and if I lost the "no I'll pay for it" battle, then at least I wouldn't be gouging them. I still hate letting others pay for me though. I feel like a moocher. Frown. Edit. Gosh, y'all are so wholesome. If anybody needs a pick-me-up, read the comments below this one. Made me smile. I feel scared that they'll judge if you order anything expensive. Some extended family took me out to dinner a few weeks ago. I had my eye on a nice chicken sandwich that was pretty cheap. Then it was time to order and my aunt got a steak. And my uncle got a steak. And my cousin got a steak. I said, "Duck it, I'm getting a steak too," but then had to spend a considerable amount of brain power on telling myself that I'm not an asshole for it. Ike about in other states, but in MN they can't shut your power off during the winter because of the danger of someone freezing to death in their house. So that was a good time to try to catch up on some other bills you were way behind on too. They just passed the law in Arizona where it is the other way around starting next summer due to it being 100 plus all day and night regularly. Everybody is curious to see how it is going to play out. They passed it because an elderly woman with Alzheimer's depended on her children to pay it for her, when they forgot she had no AC for the summer and died consequently. There was an attempt to pay off the bill before power was shut off. They paid hundreds, but fell short by under $30. The company shut off her power anyways, directly leading to her death. Horrible. You develop an appreciation for hand-me-down clothes when they come your way. Yes, because they were usually still in style and clean. So much joy going through garbage bags of hand-me-downs and trying stuff on. I remember being so excited getting like 4 to 5 bags of clothes from an older cousin, especially an older cousin you viewed as cool. The only downside I remember was desperately wanting something in that bag, dreaming about it until the weather was right and finding out you'd grown too much over a season, that dress that was too big for you last year? Sucks to be you this summer when you're too big for it. When you're the eldest, you have a responsibility to make sure your clothes are kept in good enough condition to be handed down. I was quite lucky in that regard. My brother and I were the youngest out of all our cousins and our parents' friends' kids, so we didn't have as much pressure on us for that. We were taught to wash and mend things, though. You think twice about grass stains that you have to scrub out. I'm hungry, drink some water. We were probably the best hydrated children at school, Lamau, but I think the thing I appreciate most is the independence I've gained, through fixing things to keep them going or from just not wanting to ask my parents for help when I know they're struggling to edit. Thank you to the kind Redditor for the platinum. I'm comparatively new to Reddit and have never received a medal before, so forgive me if I'm going against protocol. Wow. I didn't expect this to resonate with so many people, but I've just read through everyone's comments. You're all beautiful, strong, and resourceful people, and you deserve the world. I wish you all the best in breaking free from this destructive cycle. It is possible, and if my best wishes can do anything, then it will be possible for you. It's kind of funny to me that a weight loss tip is to drink a glass of water when you feel hungry, and wait a few minutes before actually eating. A bunch of times, when you feel hungry, you are actually thirsty. Not to ask their parents for stuff. I felt so guilty asking for clothes or other school needs. It also made me dread class art projects, especially in non-art classes. Yay, it's only $20 worth of crafts, but that's money we need for real life. Quick notice, for some, a reminder, that those in better fortune can donate art supplies. Just about every public school, afternoon program, nursery or Sunday school will happily take anything that isn't completely ruined. Paper and fabric scraps, markers and crayons, paints and brushes, all of these can make a huge difference for kids who may not otherwise have access, may not have any way to express themselves, may not even know they have an artistic voice, or that anyone would even care. Even better if you have kids to help them donate supplies, especially ones they've outgrown or lost interest in. How many middle-class teens have a mostly intact set of paints or markers they aren't using? How much would something like that mean to a less privileged child? Camping is only fun when you've never had to do it out of necessity. My cheapskate boss told me it was a lifestyle choice. I truly had no idea until I was in my junior year of high school taking child development that Head Start was a program created for children from homes of low income. I simply thought it was a place for me to get a head start as a kid. I still remember my teacher saying verbatim, "No honey, your family was just poor." In front of the whole class. Edit, rip my inbox, ha. What hunger really is. I remember waiting for my dad's payday for the grocery shopping trip and being absolutely ravenous when the food got there. I don't remember which day of the week it was, but we'd go on the day that the most free samples were available. Friday for us. At the time it just seemed like a normal thing to do. Looking back, it was the only time we got to try things like the higher-end frozen pizzas. I know now how much it hurt my mom not to be able to buy any of the things we got to try. How important ingenuity becomes to eat. Mom could make a bag of potatoes last 2 weeks amongst 5 kids, her and my dad. Rice, butter, and sugar was a breakfast food. Biscuits lasted days, retoasted butter and brown sugar for dinner, etc. I love breakfast rice. I tell people about breakfast rice and they don't know what I'm talking about. Was your rice condensed milk and sugar? The famous dish, arroz con pollo. Arroz con puro.